Let's begin.
Well, it's that time again, pasta fans. This? Well, don't worry about this. Some bears, though, are bigger trouble than others. The humor comes to a halt as I provide you with something a little more tangible. So if you're ready for something truly terrifying, lock your windows and shut your blinds. It's time for Calydon 21, Emergent Dismay.
Allow me to introduce myself once again. My name is Sabian Lockhart. By now, I'm sure that most of you are acquainted with my little story, and I will assume as such. If for some reason this report, if you will, leaves you confused and feeling left out, please visit my channel page, Sociopathic Pasta, and search the 1999 playlist for the terrifying truth, the Calydon Local 21 profile, I'm Responsible, A Part of Me, and The Hidden Truth, all of which have led up and contributed to this current circumstance of which I now find myself in. A crossroads in investigation of where I decide whether or not to continue searching, or drop it altogether and hope to abscond from it all. Things have gotten a little more real than I would have liked, but, as with all of you, I find myself not only thirsty for knowledge, but somewhat obligated in the responsibility of providing information to satisfy your own curiosities. After all, sitting upon relevant discoveries and not sharing them only negates the desires of others who wish to know more, and it perpetuates the concealment this monster has formed around himself, and I'm not willing to take part in that. So, I guess this new progression of events began with my contact with a person whom I'll call Mr. Smith, as he has asked me to keep his identity anonymous. And if you're wondering why, well, just take a look at me, and listen on for what I have to share. In his position, you may just have done the same thing. This sick fucker seems to focus his attention on anyone who probes into the shroud of mystery that surrounds him. Things were quiet for a while, hence the reason I haven't posted any more updates ever since the unveiling of the creator of the Calydon 21 YouTube channel, or a person calling himself Carter at the very least. I haven't heard a peep from anyone claiming to be Mr. Bear. Well, about a week ago, that all changed, and the tranquility of still waters burst into a raging whirlpool of confusion and pondering, shortly after the release of I Saw Mr. Bear, the story inspired by the provided experiences of one Mr. Smith sent to me through email. I have received a message sent from a very familiar, exciting, and at the same time gut-wrenching address. In my inbox resided a message from paintwiththeb@aol.com. I of course was excited at first, because I thought it may contain something significant again, something to shed light on this clouded subject that is so obscure some believe it to be false. I, and a few others, including Elliot, know otherwise. When I clicked on it, I was a little disappointed to see the simple phrase accompanied by the blank subjected email. It plainly and only said, "Did you get the invitation?" What invitation? I thought to myself. At first I thought I had missed something. I began scouring through my email, my spam folder, other addresses and domains that I hold, desperately trying to find this invitation. After each and every avenue was met with failure to do so, I depressingly settled on one bitter thought. I may have possibly missed my chance to find this so-called seller or something of the like. The only thing I could think of that would fit into the conundrum of this now theoretical invitation. Disheartened, I concluded I was nowhere near having anything significant to report, and I left it alone. A couple of days or so had gone by, and I honestly had forgotten all about it. I know, how could you forget, but like I said, this isn't my first rodeo with cryptic messages, and as far as that one, it was more or less dissatisfying at best. As most of you also know, I have a new job and no longer work construction, so I only get to use my phone during the day on rare occasions, typically cigarette breaks. Yeah, I know, a nasty habit, but one vice at a time. I had stepped out the door and lit my smoke and called home to check in with my wife. She and I are basically best friends, and frequent phone conversations is a staple of each and every day, so calling home wasn't at all unusual, but what she had to tell me was. At first, when she told me, I found myself just as baffled as she, completely failing to note the correlation. She had received a weird birthday invitation in the mail for our now 6-year-old daughter. It wasn't the invitation itself, the name of the child written within, or anything of the sort. From its outward appearance, it was simply a child's birthday invitation for a day of fun and celebration, but the address it was made out to an address more than 45 minutes away, in a township that is less than a town and more of a collection of woodland houses in the middle of God's green nowhere. It was weird, because we don't know anyone from that area. When I hung up the phone and the thought had time to simmer, an all too familiar sense of dread washed over me, and I almost threw up on my desk. That's how nauseous the idea made me feel. Had I received the invitation? Maybe. The reason I could not find the invitation Paint with the B had inquired about was because I had not received it yet. The last few hours of the day stretched out to seem like a lifetime. I couldn't wait to get home and inspect the thing for myself. Okay, so I'll skip over the details of coming through the door and such, right to the object in question itself. Blue, Cinderella ball themed, and under the signature of Cheyenne. The individual I assumed the party was for. It said, she too is turning 6. So what did I do? I did what any rational parent would do, and I Googled the address on Google Maps. Now, I'm not going to provide the address here for a few reasons, but the main one is I don't think it's wise for me to give out my approximate location of my residence anymore. It seems I'm already a victim of my own curiosity, and adding to the forces that plot against me, giving them ammunition, if you will, and adding to it all seems to be a bit in bad form, possibly even dangerous at this point. But I will share with you what I discovered on the screen after punching the keys needed to type in the address into the map search bar. From above, it looked like a little shack of a home, surrounded and nestled within the woods, a moderate driveway that led from a road in the mountains, far from what most people consider civilization. It looked normal enough from above, a little foreboding in its isolation, but nothing to warrant a feeling of doom and trepidation. But when I zoomed into Street View, I was shocked by what I saw, and I knew for sure at that moment that something was certainly off about the invite my young one had received. I had to check the address at the bottom of the screen to make sure I had gotten it right, because there was no way that someone lived in that place. Not any time recently, anyway. It was seemingly vacant, relatively well overgrown, and the roof over the garage portion of the home was entirely collapsed. The house was either condemned or certainly condemnable, the kind of place not even suitable enough for a squatter. So, for now, I'm leaving off here. I'm going to that house this weekend, on my own, without my wife and children. I'll go during the day so as to increase my safety, and I'll make sure everyone has my location and a plan to follow if I don't check back in by a certain time. It's time to meet this fucker on his own terms, if it's really him. And if so, I have to ask, how the hell did he get my address? But with the way technology is these days, I don't suppose that is the biggest mystery to be solved. I can't help but wonder, is this his endgame? Is he done playing around with me? Close to the conclusion of his elaborate plan to kill me and or my family? Reflection has revealed that keeping myself in the dark will not help me to keep them safe. I'll make sure to tread as lightly as I can, find out all I'm capable, and promptly return with haste. In any case, I'll be sure to report back with what I find. Sabian out. Okay, for you, it's been like 2 seconds, but for me, it's been almost a week. I find myself questioning how far I'm willing to go. The thing is, either this shit is really happening and my family is in danger, or someone interested in my investigations is playing some kind of sick, twisted prank. I'm sure all of you are interested in what I found. Well, the home was very decrepit. What walls weren't falling down and cracked with age were completely devoid of drywall and insulation, exposing the wooden beams beneath. I'm guessing maybe something fell on the place because the studs were in surprisingly good condition. Of course, in all honesty, I didn't get to explore the whole house. I parked my vehicle a distance away, not wanting to make my presence known, and I hiked in. The place was a sight, to say the least, but no one around as far as I could see as I entered the front door, which pushed open with ease. The living space was derelict, and I went to move towards one of the bedrooms down the adjoining hall, but was stopped short at an object that caught my widening eyes. Against one of those walls, panels stripped away to the studs, I stared down at the sight that induced fear so intense I didn't think it possible. There was a stuffed bear, a teddy bear, propped up against the hallway wall and leaning against one of the studs. Yeah, it wasn't exactly the bear that scared me, though. As off-putting as it was, a stuffed bear lying on a floor is explainable in a million ways, although it was notably newer than its surroundings. The place was in shambles, a complete mess, but the thing was clean, seemingly new. But still, it wasn't even that. What shook me to my absolute core was the piece of paper tied to its arm. A folded rectangle that, I fucking shit you not, spelled out the name, Sabian, in black, sketch-like letters, each line and curve scribbled over numerous times. Of course, I just wanted to get the hell out of there, but I had to know. I took one photo with my cell phone and bent over to grab the thing, lifting it eye level and inspecting it. I lifted the paper rectangle, turning over my name and revealing something written inside. The dread was welling up inside of me. I just needed to get the hell out of there. No matter what the circumstances, factual killer or obsessed jokester, it was in my best interest to leave, and fast. I tore the note from the bear, dropped it, and proceeded quickly towards the front door. I just wanted to get back to my hidden vehicle and leave, get as far away as I could. I stopped dead in my tracks in the center of the door frame, ducking back inside as soon as I noticed, and stopped my forward momentum. There was a truck. An old beat-up truck just sitting outside, just parked in the road about 40 feet away. It was way too far to get a good look at the driver through all the brush, and no, I couldn't see the license plate. I honestly don't know who it was. It could have been a guy pulled over to answer a call on his cell, for all I know, but I wasn't taking any chances. I half expected him to get out, or pull into the driveway. The other half expected it to be him, and that maybe this would be the end of me. But as with most real stories, none of those things happened, and the vehicle just drove off. I hastily made my way back to my own truck and did the same, that note tucked into my pocket. I made it home without complications. No sign of anyone following me. I've tried looking into the meaning of this message, the gibberish on the inside of the note. But so far, I've been unsuccessful. For those interested, the cryptic message only says DZEHFGB-GD0 Bear. If anyone has any thought on this odd sequence of letters, please let me know. I conclude with the honest belief that, whatever it means, that's not the point. The point is, this is all too real. This is not a game. He's out there. He knows me, and in one way or another, I'm a part of his sick game. I don't know if I'm going to follow this up anymore. I'm torn between giving it all up and distancing myself from it as much as I can, and the inherent responsibility I have to my discovery a wicked curse that is also a privilege that I find difficult to deny. But for now, I'll say this. If I do decide to soldier on, I will likely go back to that old house. Maybe I missed something, maybe I didn't, but I figure it's as good a place as any. I'll make sure to post any further developments.
And with no more left to present, that's all I have to say about that, for now. But until then, you're going to want to make sure to return next week, as this monster marathon continues with yet another fiend of fright we all know. So until then, tread unknown waters carefully, or you just might get pulled beneath the surface and unable to return.
Social media can be very unpredictable, especially regarding horror content. If this content gets removed, all new content will be simultaneously presented on various websites provided in the description to this video. Make sure to follow me in other digital spaces so that you never miss out on the terror. Also, if you like this video, make sure to leave a comment and hit the like button. It helps the channel a lot. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy what's here, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. Writing is a dream of mine, and it's all of you that make that dream come true.